to renege on the debates. And everybody, blogosphere pundits and people on cable news said, Limbaugh is off his rocker, doesn't know what he's talking about. Of course there's going to be debates. There's going to be 3 debates. Biden is assuring everybody's going to be debate. And what happened? Nancy Pelosi, stop and think of this, folks. Nancy Pelosi comes out and says, I would not legitimize a conversation with him. Now, she's clearly laying the groundwork for Biden not to have to debate. And she wouldn't have done that without the Biden campaign's knowledge of it. The idea she's out there shooting from the hip, I guess it's possible because it's Pelosi. She may be trying to manipulate things. Because I'll tell you something else going on out there, folks. You know, internal polls for politicians don't lie. The polls that they do, that they report to you and me, like take your pick, any poll. Those polls, as you well know, are made to shape public opinion, not reflect it. But internal polls, like the Trump campaign internal polls or the Biden internal polls, they're not lying to themselves in those polls. And those polls must be bad. I saw a poll, and I can't remember the name of it right now. We're just going to find it real quick. It's Black Lives Matter in Wisconsin's popularity has gone from plus 25 to 0 in 2 months. Oh, yeah. It was a tweet here from noted hate expert Jonathan Chait. Democrats need to be extremely concerned about what's happening in Wisconsin. Support for Black Lives Matter has gone from plus 25 to 0 in 2 months. In Wisconsin, it's happening all over the place. And by now, I'm sure you've all heard that CNN anchors are warned, well, we got to get serious. We got to talk about the rioting. The focus group data looks bad. The polling data looks also now. It's not about saving lives, not about saving property. Now that all this is starting to hurt the Democrats, now they've got to start talking about it. But these internal polls must be bad. They don't lie in these internal polls. Biden, did you notice yesterday, he didn't even just leave the basement. He went up a floor. He went to the living room. He went up to where there's a fireplace in August. Kamala Harris emerged from whatever hovel she was living in to come out and tell a bunch of whoppers about Trump. And I think the fact that these polls, the internal polls of the Biden campaign, are bad can be seen in the Biden campaign's activity. Here's a New York Times story, how chaos in Kenosha is already swaying some voters in Wisconsin away from Democrats. And there's a quote from somebody here. Ellen Ferwerda owns an antique furniture store downtown, just blocks from the worst of the destruction, and it's now closed. I just think local Democrat leaders, they're hesitant to condemn the mayhem. They don't know what to say. If you don't know what to say about rioters, if you don't know what to say about people that are destroying your town, then it's obvious you don't know what to do about it either. Bruce Arians, the head coach, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, a lot of these players, NFL, NBA, NHL, decided to not practice or to cancel a bunch of games because of the shooting in Kenosha. And Bruce Arians, the coach, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, said, I don't know that protest is an action. I think each guy has a personal thing. I would beg the players to take action. Find a cause, either support it financially or do something to change the situation, because protesting doesn't do crap, in my opinion. I've been seeing it since 1968. He's talking about the Democrat convention in Chicago. But this is a heck of a courageous thing to say. Protesting doesn't do crap. Already people in the sports media world are outraged that he would say this, that the Boston Tea Party was protest. No, it was action. It was much more than just marching up and down the street or carrying a bunch of signs or looting and destroying other people's property. There is a big difference between action and protest. And what he was really saying was, canceling practice, not practicing football one day is not going to change anything you claim to be in favor of. It's not going to matter a whit. And so, he didn't say this, I will. They're getting away with engaging in a bunch of symbolism while not having to engage in any genuine substance. Folks, a couple other things here that I want to delve into. I actually believe, I saw a little note from Glenn Reynolds at Instapundit, Actually, some major things happening this week that I haven't heard anybody say. Now, it doesn't mean nobody has, because they haven't been able to listen to everything. But look at the Republican convention. It's been the most diverse political convention I've ever seen, including Democrat conventions. And as I've watched it, it has occurred to me Trump isn't just running for re-election. The story that is being told at the Republican National Convention is about saving America. It's about saving America from a race war that the Democrats are out there actively trying to promote. They're trying to foment it. They want this country to be black versus white, immigrant versus native, male versus female. That's what they want. They want that chaos. They want this constant us versus them aspect of daily life. And Trump is making it clear that he's interested in people who are constructive, productive, generally happy.
You know, of course.
He's not interested in parasites, the generally miserable. He wants everybody to join in this project of making America great again, to restoring America's greatness where we had contentment and happiness, and people sought happiness. The fact that all of that is controversial still amazes me. But I think if you look at the Republican convention, it is astounding the understory that, or some of the themes underneath the surface
just flat out told
that are, I think, extremely powerful. There's another thing, folks, that is undeniable, and that is the Republican Party is no longer the party of the McCains or the Bushes or the Romneys or take your pick. I mean, all of the Koch brothers, all the big donors and so forth. This is clearly Republican Party now that is Donald Trump's. And he's got 92 to 95% Republican loyalty. It's one of the most amazing transformations of a political party. And it's taken place in less than 3 years. At this convention, George W. Bush was nowhere to be found. None of the old Republican elders. Romney was nowhere to be found. Not that they wanted to be there, but that's the point. So I think that there is a lot, folks, to be optimistic about, particularly if President Trump wins. Oh, there's my timer telling me that my time is up, but it's not up. I gave myself a couple extra seconds here. It is an opportunity for upbeat, positive nature among all of us. This week has been very eye-opening for me. It's been a very bad week, and yet it has ended for me feeling inspired and upbeat and really confident about the future of our country if President Trump is reelected. I believe the opposite is true if he's not. But we'll delve into that more as I get back next week. Again, thank you, folks, for your patience and understanding. I'm sorry I have missed this week, but it is a bad infection. I have to get it under control. And that's what the next few days and what this week have all been about. I've missed you. I always miss you. And I'm looking real forward to getting back to you next week. Thanks, Ken Matthews, all the guest hosts who are doing yeoman work here in my absence. I love everybody. Love you all. Can't wait to see you next on Monday.
In times like these, we need